Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, staring at your property tax bill, and you feel like you've been punched in the gut. $6,285. That's the median property tax bill in Lake County, Illinois. But here's the kicker, and this is where most homeowners are literally throwing money away. There's a legal way to slash that bill by hundreds of dollars every single year, and most people have no clue it exists. I'm talking about the homestead exemption. And if you live in Lake County and you're not getting this exemption, you're essentially writing a check to the government for money that you don't owe. It's like leaving a $20 bill on the sidewalk every month and walking away. When I first moved to Hawthorne Woods, yeah, I know it sounds fancy, but my wallet didn't feel fancy when those tax bills started rolling in. I was that guy, the guy paying full freight on property taxes while my neighbor was getting a discount I didn't even know about. It wasn't until a friend across the street casually mentioned his homestead exemption that I realized I'd been overpaying for 2 years. 2 years. That's roughly $350 I'll never get back because nobody tells you about this stuff when you buy a house. Let me put Lake County's property taxes in perspective for you. We ranked 15th highest in the entire country out of 3,143 counties. When your property taxes are higher than 99.5% of all counties in America, every exemption matters. The average Lake County resident pays about 6.76% of their yearly income just in property taxes. Think about that. Nearly 7% of everything you earn goes to local government before you even think about state and federal taxes. What is the homestead exemption? So, what exactly is this homestead exemption that could be saving you money right now? It's beautifully simple and frustratingly underutilized. The homestead exemption reduces your home's equalized assessed value by $8,000. Now, before your eyes glaze over at an equalized assessed value, stay with me because this is where the magic happens. Your property taxes aren't calculated on what your house is worth. They're calculated on something called the equalized assessed value, or EAV. In Lake County, with an average property tax rate of 2.19%, that $8,000 reduction saves you about $175 per year, every year, for doing absolutely nothing except filling out one form one time. But here's where it gets even better. If you're 65 and older, you can stack another exemption on top. The senior homestead exemption gives you an additional $8,000 reduction. So seniors can potentially reduce their EAV by $16,000 total, saving roughly $350 annually. That's real money, grocery money, gas money, actually afford to live in this ridiculously expensive county money. The catch, but not really. Now, there's always a catch, right? Well, sort of, but it's the most reasonable catch in the history of government programs. You have to actually live in the house. I know that's a revolutionary concept for some people, but it has to be your primary residence as of January 1st of the tax year. You can't homestead your vacation cabin in Wisconsin or that rental property you're hoping that'll make you rich. One property where you actually lay your head at night. Why do people miss out? So why aren't more people getting this exemption? 3 reasons, and they're all maddening. First, nobody tells you. When you buy a house, your realtor talks to you about square footage, your lender talks about interest rates, your attorney talks about the title issues, but nobody sits down and says, hey, here's how to legally reduce your tax bill. It's like there's a conspiracy of silence around free money. Second, people think it's complicated, and it's not. I've seen people spend more time researching what to binge watch on Netflix than it takes to apply for this exemption. The entire process is online now through something called the Smart File e-filing portal, which sounds intimidating, but it is basically just a website where you can upload your driver's license and click submit. Third, and this one kills me, people assume they don't qualify. Oh, I just moved here, or I haven't lived here long enough, or my personal favorite, I'm sure there's some reason I can't get it. Unless you're lying about where you live, you qualify. That's it. That's the qualification. The application process demystified. Let me walk you through the actual process because it's so simple, it's almost insulting that more people don't do it. You go to assessor.lakecountyill.gov. I'll repeat that, assessor.lakecountyill.gov. You can create an account, log into an existing account, or even log in as a guest. You click begin filing and follow the instructions that are written in plain English, not government gibberish. You'll need proof of your residency. Your driver's license or state ID works perfectly. That's it. Upload the document, submit the form, and you're done. No annual renewals, no complicated paperwork, no jumping through bureaucratic hoops. Apply once, save money forever, as long as you live there. The beautiful part, there's no deadline pressure for the general homestead exemption. But obviously, the sooner you apply, the sooner you start saving. Don't be like me, leaving money on the table for years because you didn't know better. Who should get it? The obvious answer. Who should get the homestead exemption? Everyone who qualifies, which is basically everyone who owns and lives in their home. But let me be more specific about who especially needs to pay attention. New homeowners. This should be on your closing checklist, right next to get utilities transferred and change your address with the post office. Seniors, if you're 65 years and older and not getting both the general and senior homestead exemptions, you're potentially missing out on $350 a year. That's 4 months of typical utility bills in Illinois. Anyone who's lived in their Lake County home for years but never applied, you know who you are. You're the person thinking, I should really look into this exemption thing while continuing to overpay. Today is your day to stop procrastinating. The bigger picture. Here's what really gets me fired up about this. Lake County already has some of the highest property taxes in America. The median homeowner here pays more in property taxes than homeowners in 99.5% of counties nationwide. When you're already getting financially pummeled by local government, taking advantage of every legal tax break isn't just smart, it's essential for survival. And yet, drive through any neighborhood in Lake County and you'll find people who are voluntarily paying more than they owe. It's like finding out half the people at the grocery store are still paying full price while the other half are using coupons for the exact same items. Addressing the skeptics. Now, some people hear this and think, that's so great, why isn't everyone doing it? That's a fair question. The answer is depressingly simple, because most people don't know, and those who do know often assume it's more complicated than it is, or they procrastinate until they forget about it entirely. I've literally had neighbors tell me they were meaning to look into that exemption thing for 5 years. 5 years at $175 a year, that's $875 they've voluntarily donated to Lake County government. I'm sure the county appreciates your generosity, but your retirement accounts probably don't. Call to action, no excuses. Look, I can't force you to save money, but I can remove every excuse you have for not doing it. It's free, it's online, it takes less time than ordering pizza, and it saves you money every single year for as long as you own your home. If you're listening to this in your Lake County home right now, stop what you're doing after this podcast ends and go to assessor.lakecountyill.gov. Create an account, upload your driver's license, submit the application, set a timer if you want. I guarantee you it takes less than 10 minutes. And if you're over 65, make sure you're applying for both exemptions. That's a potential $16,000 reduction in your assessed value, saving you roughly $350 per year. The Lake County homestead exemption isn't a loophole, a trick, or some sketchy tax avoidance scheme. It's a legitimate benefit provided by Illinois law specifically designed to help owners reduce their property tax burden. In a country where property taxes are already crushing families, taking advantage of this exemption isn't just recommended, it's financial self-defense. It would be awesome if the people in local government would let you know that things like this exist. But they aren't going to call you up and remind you to apply for tax breaks. That's not how this works. But now you know, and knowledge without action is just expensive entertainment. Don't be the person still paying full price while your smarter neighbors are getting a discount. The exemption is here, the application is simple, and your wallet will thank you every year when the tax bill arrives, and it's a little less painful than it could have been.